A long time ago, there were lots of wild horses and burros that roamed the lands in the United States of America. The horses, also known as the Mustangs, ran in big herds, mostly in Nevada and Wyoming. In the pioneer days, the Indians used the horses for hunting, and the cowboys used them for ranch work like plowing the fields and the Pony Express. As the years went by, the horses were being shot and ran over by trucks by people who thought they were a nuisance. Their watering holes were being poisoned. They were being killed for dog food, and the killing still is going on. By September of 1959, the Wild Horse Annie Act took place. Her name is Velma Johnston. She wanted to stop the poisoning of the water holes as well as the motorized vehicles used to round up the horses for slaughterhouse. In 1971, President Nixon signed the Wild Free Roaming Horse and Burros Act to protect them and to stop the killing, but later the act was dropped in 2004, but was restored in 2006 and 2007. In 1946, Congress created the BLM, also known as the Bureau of Land Management. They used to use helicopters to round up the wild horses and burros and put them in federal government holding pens and pastures. As many as 36,000 were rounded up. They tried on horseback, but it was too hard for the horse and rider. After rounding them up, they would separate the mares and the foals, and then some were set free, and some of the mares were put on birth control to control the population, which only lasted 1 to 2 years. Now there's less than 33,000 horses roaming the lands, outnumbered by livestock, 50 to 1. In 1976, the Federal Land Policy and Management authorized aircrafts and use of motorized vehicles to round up the wild horses and burros. It was banded, then it was unbanded. The BLM horses were rounded up and then trained by some of the people in prisons, and they only had 90 days to train the horses for auction. After the horse is auctioned off, then it is monitored to make sure that you can take care of your horse, and if there is a foal, you have to adopt the foal as well. After 1 year, you get title ownership of that horse. Today, horses are being abused and abandoned, and our farmlands are being used to build condos, and they are blacktopping our gravel roads that we used to ride our horses down. Livestock auctions are sending the horses to the kill pen if they cannot auction them off. Horses are not a problem. It's the people who cannot spend enough time with them or just give up. They're blacktopping our roads and taking our lands away when grass is needed for our horses. We need more support to fight. We need the land to grow hay for our horses. We need more rescue groups. There is hope if we can all come together and make it work. Won't you help stop what is still going on today?